Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you tonight, Ali.
I want to just talk about this no quarter business, because it is becoming increasingly evident, separate and apart from the legitimacy of this war, that Pete Hegseth is in over his skis. It is absolutely illegal to say no quarter. It's just not a thing. Explain that to those of us who are civilians.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's actually in black and white in international law. So under the Geneva Convention, under the International Criminal Court, the Rome Statute, the very order, no quarter will be given, that's a violation. It's plain and simple. And I've trained hundreds, conservatively, probably thousands of soldiers on the law of war. And everybody, even privates, know that that's illegal. And now this is a pattern from Pete Hegseth. You know, this administration, they learn by trial and error. They have no experience, no knowledge, no judgment. It's actually painful to watch. The cavalier attitude to American casualties from the president and the secretary, it's obscene. And here we are. The president starts an unlawful war of choice with Iran. Iran gets intel from Russia to target Americans, and the president lifts sanctions on Russian oil to help Russia. The president is just really bad at his job, and these actions are getting American service members killed.
Let's talk about that last point. Russia, because it's been sanctioned for so long, since the beginning of the invasion in Ukraine in 2013 and then subsequently, gets most of its foreign currency from the sale of oil. That is its most valuable thing that it can sell the world. And America had met with some degree of success in trying to limit that. What a wild thing that we've removed those sanctions because we have done something that has caused Iran to then close the Strait of Hormuz, which, by the way, you need to be no expert on the Strait of Hormuz. You need to look at a simple map and understand, boy, that's a dangerous thing to do.
Absolutely. Look, these things are very foreseeable. There's a reason why Democratic and Republican administrations over the course of decades have decided not to engage in a conflict with Iran. 20% of oil transits the Strait of Hormuz. We have a number of bases in the region. We have a number of allies. And all of the calculations have been that it's not worth the massive disruption, the potential cost and life. I mean, this regime, despite what the administration is saying, is not on the verge of folding. I mean, I've seen no indication of that. In fact, the president and this administration have gone to war with Iran based purely on hope that American air power is sufficient to bring the Iranians to their knees, and hope that the Iranian people rise up. And I'll tell you, in the last 2 weeks or so, the prospects of the Iranian people rising up against the regime have faded, not grown.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, attacking a refinery in Tehran, I mean, there are a lot of people in Iran who very validly hate their regime and would like to see it overthrown. But when they're getting killed, and this doesn't help you win hearts and minds.
Absolutely. You know, this president promised that he would not get us involved in another Middle East war, a forever war. We have no real prospects of when this will end because we don't know what the objectives are. The president, from one moment he's saying unconditional surrender. The next moment he's talking about eliminating a nuclear capability that he obliterated just 8 months ago. So he was either lying then or he's lying now. And all at the same time that costs are skyrocketing for Americans. That he got elected because he claimed he was going to lower costs. Instead, he is doing everything he can to skyrocket costs. It's obscene, and the cost in American blood and treasure is real. I saw that at Dover last weekend when I was at the transfer of American dead, literally feet behind the president, watching the coffins roll by and wondering to myself, when will this end?